welcome all CIA and FBI agents to the Animation Revaluation podcast. I am your host, Lizer, and with me, as always, are Jay and James. What's up, fellas?
Yeah.
How's it going?
Oh, good,
Happy
man.
Sunday.
Yeah, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Yeah. I've been up for a very long time, and I'm ready to get this over with.
let's strap on and strap in, shall we?
Wait, what? Nobody told me anything about strap-ons.
What?
Wrong website, sorry.
No, that's the other website.
Yeah,
about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Get those details later. What's up, guys? How you guys feeling?
Hanging in there.
Good. Same.
I've had an excruciating week.
I feel that.
How about you?
I've had an excruciating.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a busy week. I've been having to wake up super early for work, earlier than I've ever had to wake up for anything before in my life. And my body's like, you know what? You're gonna get an hour of sleep and wake up and stay awake, even though you don't have to leave for 5 hours. And I'm just like, oh, okay, all right.
I actually have quite the opposite. It was me laying in bed all day mostly, and then I'd have to leave at 2 o'clock to get somewhere by 3:30, and then from basically 4 o'clock to midnight I'd be at that place and have to come home, and I wouldn't go to sleep until 9 in the morning. I was just like, oh, I guess I have chosen death.
Meanwhile, I was like a worried parent, looking at my phone, okay, he should be getting out now. Let me send him a message.
Yeah, that's pretty much how that went. It was not the funnest experience I've had at all.
What is the funniest experience you've had? Six Flags 2006. Everyone else is quiet. Nobody else has ever had a fun experience in their lives.
I can't remember.
I only know despair.
Despair.
Yeah, everyone on Twitch right now is either playing Lost Ark or Elden Ring, and we're here reviewing anime. And what is the anime that we are reviewing? James? James?
James?
It's because he played Elden Ring. His fucking computer died.
Hello? Yes?
Yeah?
I hear you.
Oh, okay.
You hear me?
Yeah?
Yeah. All right. Not fried.
Yet.
Yet. Let me know if it gets cut off again. I really don't know what happened.
This is 80% of the time that you're on here, you get cut off.
I know. I tried something different. I'm actually holding my mic instead of just putting it. But we'll see.
So yeah, what are we talking about this week, man?
We're talking about Blue Period, and we're just gonna jump right on into it.
Let's get right on into the news.
It starts off with a guy named Yatora Yaguchi. Ooh, nice.
Yeah, man, I got you.
And as far as we learn, he's a very diligent, insecure, and very analytical guy in high school. But he hangs out with a bunch of kind of delinquent friends, and they're always just kind of kicking back and just trying to, not really care about school or anything. They just kind of just mess around or whatever.
Yeah, I thought they were college kids at first.
Yeah, I mean, one of them looks like he's fucking in his mid-40s.
Not only that, but the first time we see any of them, they're at a bar drinking, and then you find out he's a second year in high school, which is 16.
Yeah.
But drinking laws in Japan is like a lot stricter.
Wasn't it like in Europe like 14 or like 16 or something
No,
like
like
that?
England is 18.
Yeah.
Like I know I know it's crazy in JP.
It's like once your testicle drops, you're a man now.
Women aren't allowed to drink.
Uh,
Yeah, but yeah, it shows them like they're not wearing uniforms or anything. They're at the bar drinking. So I'm like, oh, these are like college kids, because I knew that they were going to be in school. So
Yeah.
I just assumed it was college. But then he goes into the bathroom, changes into his uniform, and goes home to study. Like,
Yeah.
what? Excuse me, sir?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
I was very confused by that.
yeah. With the way that it starts off in the beginning, it kind of like it's. I want to say it's like between like episode like 3 or 4, or it's just like the little intro when like you were saying on the sports bar. Oh, like that's not like the actual beginning.
Yeah.
Because he's already like painting at that scene. So he's like he doesn't understand. Like I guess he made a reference to Picasso. Like it's like oh Picasso kind of sucks.
Mm.
Um, but then he actually gets starting into painting by I guess he meets he encounters two people I guess in the hallway. A guy named Ryuji Aokawa, who identifies as a female, so she goes by Yuka, or that's what at least as far as the other character named Maru Mori. Um, that's what she calls her Yuka-chan. And as far as we know, as far as we know from both of these two, that they're both in an art class. And then I think for some reason, I guess that Yaguchi's like in art class with his friends or whatever, just kind of messing around in the back, and then I guess he gets kind of interrupted with like by the teacher, and then he ends up forgetting his cigarettes in the art class. So like later he has to go back in the art class to go get him back, but he ends up finding a painting. Uh, I think I was able to find a picture of that painting.
Yeah, I was going to, and then I was like, we don't really need it. But yeah, you probably should have it.
Give me a
It
second.
is a nice painting. The art in this show is really good.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Like
I
both
thought-
in description of the show itself and the art that the people are painting.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I'm like, dang, on like the way that they animated like the paintings. I've never really seen like when they animate and then they put drawings like paintings into it. Like I never seen like something like blown up like that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like ever. So like usually it's just something in the background, but in this case it was just more emphasized, I guess. So I guess this is when he kind of starts getting a little bit more into painting and art, because for some reason like it kind of drew him in. And then he ends up meeting Mori. He actually thinks like she's actually really talented and all that, but at the same time she doesn't think it's talent. And just like how he thinks like when people say that he's talented or like for like being a smart student and all that, it's like, well, no, he's not smarter than anyone else. He just puts in more effort than anyone else. So like if you just put a little bit of hard work into anything, you'll probably be better than him or smarter than him. It's like he's not really doing anything amazing. So that's why like when he gets praised for anything, for any of his accomplishments when it comes to academics, he doesn't really I guess the best way to say it, doesn't feel. I guess what would be the word? Like he
Accomplished.
doesn't. Yeah, accomplished. Yeah. And Mori kind of gives him a similar answer, where it's like, "Well, I'm not really like talented and all that. I just put in a lot of hard work." And then when she said that, like he instantly kind of like understood her. And he's like, "Oh man, like oh shit, like I hate it when people say that." So like I just said the same thing. Like I'm sorry. Um, and then he ended up, I guess, kind of getting more into like art class, and then Um, I didn't really want to talk about her because it wasn't really a big focal point, but I guess one of the art teacher, the what was her name? Seiki? I
Yeah.
had trouble pronouncing it.
Masako Seiki.
Aoka Seiki. So she ends up kind of like talking to him and like letting him know that art is, I guess a form of expression, and that it's just more about just, I guess it's something you do for passion, and if you do it for like, I guess for any particular like other reason apart from that, like it'll come across in your painting and it won't be as good. um, and I think he also goes on with about how like art school, he doesn't really understand like the purpose of like art. There's like, it's not really like a, I guess like a safe discipline, or which I kind of understood, because it was like he's kind of like basing his whole career on like art, or like he decides to, I guess, pull that forward, because he doesn't really have interest in anything else. Art was the only thing that kind of like drew him in, but he kind of still is on the fence about it, because like he knows little know the next nothing about it, and yeah, he still kind of wants to do it. So he's kind of like a little torn about it.
That, and also just kind of taking a big risk like that, because
I couldn't understand, like, what was he like a is he a second year too, or is he like a third year?
it's the second year.
He's a second year. Okay. Is there like only 3 in school, or is it 4? Because the way it made it seem is just more like it was like his only try left. So
Wesker, thank you so much for the tier 2 sub.
Oh my god.
Nice.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Nice.
So it's just I think,
believe it's 3. I'm not too sure.
What was the question?
Yeah.
I was distracted by the sub noise.
like how many grades are there in Tokyo, or like
in Japanese
school?
high school?
Yeah.
3.
3. Okay. Yeah, so like pretty much he gets like he's very aware how much like art school is. Like, I guess when it comes to like art school, it's like up there like in like cost,
Yeah.
and tuition, compared to like doctorate school or like lawyer.
It was like what, like 5th on the list of most expensive schools?
Yeah,
Like type of school to go to?
pretty much.
Which
And
is pretty rough, actually.
I know. I never would have thought, but I guess it kind of makes sense. And you find out that his family's not really like not that rich, at least enough to pay for like anything like that.
Like they'd be able to afford a public school basically, but they're not well off enough to really send him anywhere great.
Yeah.
Like they can survive, but that's about it.
So I know his art teacher tells him that there is one school that is more affordable, but at the same time, since it's more affordable, it's very hard to get in, and it's pretty reputable too, despite it being a lot cheaper. So I think they said like the admission to get into it was like 1 out of 5 people, but that like I think like 200 like people apply a year, like every year.
Yeah,
and
1 in
only,
every
like,
200.
yeah, I think it was like 1 in every 200 like get in every year or something like that.
Yeah, so like only 5 people basically, because they have 1,000 applicants a year.
Yeah. So I thought that was crazy.
Or like,
I was like,
5 people from like the category that they
Yeah.
were talking about basically.
Yeah. What else? I mean, I think that pretty much. I didn't mention, but in the first painting, since it's Mori, you kind of find out about the way that she gets inspiration when it comes to her kind of art. That when her inspiration to drawings is more through prayer and religion. So I guess that's like more of her. So she, you find out a little later that what she means by that, she's just, how is the best way to describe it? Like she, I guess, wants like people to achieve greatness, and for some reason, to in her mind, she thinks religion, and like prayer. Um, I was really a little disappointed like how little they like talk about Maury, because like she's a big focal point for the main
Considering that she's like the catalyst for him wanting to even get into art, because he was against art at first.
Yeah,
he literally went into the class and was like vocal about it being a waste of time.
yeah. So like I was really like surprised why she like you were saying, she was a catalyst. She kind of like got him to do like this big leap into this thing he knows next to know anything about it, but it just like is the only thing that kind of piqued his interest. But like she didn't really stand out very much, which I was a little disappointed about. But in the next episode, he joins in the art class, and that's when he started to learn a little bit more techniques, and he gets to, I guess, he starts playing around a little bit, but he doesn't really know as much. So he does go to Seiki a lot. And then I guess one of the first I think in episode 2 they kind of fast forwarded a little bit, so that he already knew the techniques, because it was already like summer vacation already, like not that far in.
Yeah, that was kind of messing with me because it seemed like the way they set it up, it seemed like it was like next day.
Yeah.
But then you find out that like a couple months have passed. I was like, damn, he learned a lot really fast. And it's like, oh no, time passed. They just don't really mention it.
I know. They kind of did that very fluidly. So I was like, wait, what? It's been a few months already? Because like they usually, like, at least like mostly that I've seen, they say like in subtitles or whatever, like few months later, or like 2 months or whatever. But this one is just kind of like, no, it's been a few months and it's summer, and here you go. Here's your art assignment.
Yeah, like he went from like barely being able to draw a box to like doing portraits of sculptures and making it look real. And I was like, what the fuck?
And also, one thing that I think kind of really hit hard was the relationship between him and his mom.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that was in yeah, I'm gonna cover that. I think that was episode I think it was episode 2.
You are correct.
That was I think I'll start talking at least about that. So since he's learning all his techniques and everything when it comes to art, he's starting to notice a little bit more, I guess, of what's around him. Because I guess when you're like painting something, you gotta really like capture every detail. So when he's like painting and all that, he's trying to like get the whole picture. So he I know at first he has trouble, since he's so insecure. He wants to convince his mom into art school, but like you know how it is. I'm like, hey, like I'm very academic and like I can literally get into any school I want, but hey, let me go into art school. So like I know his mom was very like aback. I think they were like, I think she looked like she was like really like let him have it, like really mad, because it, like as if he was kind of like throwing his life away in a sense. But I know she quickly realizes that he's pretty serious about it, because I think she ends up going into his room, finding that like that, I guess on what
like
would you
the
call
application, not application, but it's like what do
that
you want to
like
do?
college, yeah, like what do you want to do, like college and like your like career path kind of thing. They I guess they do a lot over there. So like she sees that he does art, and then like I think it, like I said, like the time kind of like I don't know if it was like the next day or whatever, but I know she ends up confronting him about it, but then he ends up seeing like a bunch of paintings and him like just knocked out on this desk all over. So like that's how he finds out that he's serious. And then like later in the episode, he can't really find up the courage to like tell his mom that he's going to art school, so he just draws her a picture of her, and like he does. Yeah, ooh, you guys actually have a picture. Nice. Yeah, so in the picture he ends up drawing like noticing that her hands are like all messed up, and like the way that she even like stands, or the way like whatever, like she does like a lot like around the house and everything, for him and the family. And like even like the way that she cooks, like she always like leaves him like all the better portions and everything, while she gets the ones he kind of fucked up on. So he didn't really like he's been around her this whole time, but like it's the first time he's actually like noticing this kind of stuff. So he's just like holy shit, like you do a lot for me. So it's just like he's like I think that was pretty much how he kind of like, I want to kind of reciprocate all the hard work for me. Like, it's like I really want to go into art school, so I know it's like I usually I forgot what exactly it says. It's just more like
He basically said he needs it, and
yeah,
it's helping him view the world in a different way.
yeah. That I guess I think it was the first time that he wanted her to put faith in him.
Mm-hmm.
I guess is what he says.
Yeah. Instead of
Instead
trying
of like
to
the other way
protect
around.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I did like that a lot.
And
I was like,
he was crying, she was crying, I was crying. It was crazy.
Yeah, that hit me.
That hit me. It hit me really hard, especially like my relationship with my mom. It hit. I was like,
yeah.
Stop crying, Lizer. It's 2 a.m. Stop.
I admit it didn't make me cry, but like it's just because I never was able to get that far into that connection, unfortunately, with my mom. But it's maybe just wish like, well, I wish I was able to notice that kind of thing the way Ryuji did. And I was like, wow. I was like, it for me at least, it was still pretty heavy.
You mean Yaguchi?
What did I say?
Ryuji.
Yeah, Yaguchi. I'm sorry.
I don't think Yuji really gets along with her mom
or dad.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that.
No, we won't.
Let's see. I think that. Wait, no, that was a. Oh no, so that was just the mom. But in that episode, that he ends up, I guess, during the assignment for summer vacation, he had to work on still lives and watercolors. And for those who didn't know, like still life just includes all kinds of like man-made or like natural objects, kind of like cut flowers or fruit or vegetables.
It's the painting you always see of like the fruit in the bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most standardized like still life you'll ever see.
Pretty much. So I'm like, and then I think he had to do watercolors too, and I think they just had to like do like one art piece for the summer, but he ended up doing like one a day, just because he's kind of like, he feels like he's like far behind everybody. Like he just thinks like everybody in our class is just so much better than him, like a whole different level.
Yeah.
So he feels like he had a lot to catch up. So like he just kept practicing, and that just like goes into his character. He's just kind of like that kind of diligent.
He seems to have this idealism of everyone else in this class was born a genius and they all have skill, and I have to work hard for what I'm getting. Meanwhile, everyone's working.
Yeah. And I feel like at the same time, like I think he ends up thinking like that, but at the same time, like others may think like elsewhere, because I know like inside, like he doesn't feel like he's like a hard worker. He just puts in all that effort, but other people think he's like a delinquent, or like he's
you're good at everything. Why do you have to take art too?
Yeah, pretty much. And then like I know like the art students at first think he's kind of like, I don't know, kind of like uneasy, kind of scared of him a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, and then they're like, they realize like after he starts talking, it's like, oh, maybe he's not a bad guy after all.
Yeah, one of them literally says that, oh, maybe he isn't a bad guy.
Yeah.
It's like, he said one sentence.
Yeah, I think it's just the way he addressed. Like he was just very formal, very kind of polite. So like it was very opposite to what they were expecting. So I was like, oh, maybe, like, I don't know. But it just goes to show you can't really like base like what you can on your looks.
Yeah. But at this class, we also get to meet the new teacher.
In this class,
Yeah.
still Seiki. That I'm still on episode 2. What are you talking about?
The after school class.
Oh, that's not until like a little later.
Wasn't that where he had the assignments?
No, this is the summer. The summer still. The summer. This is from
okay.
summer school. You're a little ahead of me, man. It's cool. I was
very
like,
tired.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. I was like, I was surprised I caught it.
Just ready to talk about her. She's mine.
Yeah. Okay, but we'll just jump into that. That was episode 3. If you want to bring up her picture, her name, I believe,
Mayu Oba.
Mayu Oba. But I don't know if you guys watched the sub or the dubbed, but they called her like, I don't know if they called her Obai or Oba. I think I forget.
In the dub, it was Oba.
Was it Oba?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how it's spelled too. OBA.
Okay. And I know during prep school they kind of show, I guess during the class, they talk more about composition art, which I kind of was a little unsure what that meant. So like I think I think I have a picture. So this is like the best way to understand what composition art is. So like on the left right here you have the bird, but on the right you have a little bit more space on the right of the bird. So it seems more natural, I guess, compared to the left, because it's just more like it actually seems like it's kind of zoomed in looking at a bird kind of perched on a branch compared to the one on the left. So I guess it's just I guess the way that Oba was teaching the class, at least for that episode, is just the more how all the elements in the painting ties in together as a whole piece. So which he had trouble kind of at first learning, because for him he just kind of drew what was in front of him. So him drawing this was it kind of threw him back a little bit. And I think like one of you get introduced to another several students. I'll just address them.
Wait. I want to talk about Oba first.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So we got to touch on the fact that this is a 6 foot tall, big boobied MILF. She has 2 sons at home.
Yeah, she was like so tall, like I guess like
she had to duck to get into the classroom, bro.
Yeah, she definitely gave me like Resident Evil Village vibes.
Mommy vibes, bro.
Yeah.
There's not many people I would let peg me. I'm not gonna finish that statement. You were saying something about other students?
Yes. So there's Tosuke Takahashi. What? Oh no, where did I put it? How's it going? I was gonna go by memory. I think one was it Koba or Katagawa or dang, I forgot the name. Give me 1 second. I know one's Hashida.
Yeah. Here's Hashida. Boom, baby. Talking about Kuwana?
Yeah, Kuwana. Yes. Maki, there you go.
She's adorable. I like her hair.
And at first you don't really know much about these characters. I know in episode 3 you find out that like when they're drawing still life, like Tosuke, it's his first time drawing still life. And yeah, like he nails it on the first try.
Yeah, like he makes it look hyper realistic.
Yeah, like he's like a fucking genius.
Yeah, the teacher's like, "Oh, you've done this before." He's like, "No, it's my first time." And everyone's like, "What?" And it just cuts the credits. Like, oh, okay.
And then they don't really say much about him or his backstory, which I found kind of like also like a little disappointing. But like the only thing you kind of really know that he placed 7th place nationwide in literature.
Wow.
and like you don't really know much more about him apart from that.
Maybe like not getting these details is probably incentive to go read the manga.
Yeah.
So do that,
I
guys.
haven't gotten I haven't gotten the chance to read the manga, but I really do hope the manga does address all that.
I don't know how to read.
And then when he sees his painting for the first time, like Yaguchi against the Yotosuke's, he gets really annoyed by it because he's like, "That's crazy how like this is his first time and he's so good." Like he actually felt like it was almost cheating in a sense. But at the same time, I know like later he ends up meeting up with Ryuji, and then I guess she ends up bringing up like a correlation between like when you compare yourself to God. So is this pretty much how it's pretty much him, Yotosuke and Mori kind of like are similar in like at least like in their art, like how good they are. But at the same time, like he sees Mori a lot different to how he sees Yotosuke. Like he puts Mori like more on a pedestal, but Yotosuke is just more like it's like, yeah, you're good, but I just need to get better, get on your level, kind of thing.
I think the reasoning for that is because, like when he first met Mori, he had the whole and like the idealism that I said he had, where it's like everyone else is born with skill and I had to work for it.
Yeah.
She explained to him early on that she had to work hard, and she didn't have skill to rely on.
Yeah.
And he came to respect that. But when he sees someone like Takahashi here, who it's like, oh, this is my first time and I did it hyper realistic, that's solidifying the idea that he had of this is a person that just has skill and doesn't have to work hard, and that's why he doesn't like him. At least that's why I thought of it that way.
He makes a quote later that kind of stuck with me. It's just more like it's like it's just something that I do. It's not like I really try.
Yeah.
To like do it. It's just more like it's like I don't really need to be praised or anything by it either. It's just more like, do I need to be praised every time I take a dump or like eat food?
I wish I was.
To him, it was just like to him, like him painting and all that was as natural as doing that. So it's just more like it's just something that he did. So like that's like that ends up kind of being how that dynamic is. And then I know, Kiwana, she also is pretty much like up there too, like as a prodigy wise. I think her family are all like
they all like graduated and went to that school that they're aiming for.
Yeah, so it's kind of like in her blood. So like she's also pretty good. And I know with Hashida, he does have a lot of experience, but I think his he specializes more like in composition. So like when it comes to like bringing more out from his artwork, he's very good at. But apart from that, like you didn't really know much about him.
He's very horny.
He is very.
He's very horny, like worryingly so.
For art.
Yeah, like it went from like haha that's funny to oh okay, wow.
Yeah.
Like he saw someone's painting and he was like biting his lip and breathing hard and blushing, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a sexualized painting.
Yeah, I think he makes a reference about how it's like, I guess seeing like some delicious food in front of you. That's how he sees art, but like he can't eat it. So to him, it's just kind of like whatever like your favorite kind of food is. Like that's to him how he sees art.
But he can't fuck the art either. I've never looked at a burger and want well.
I don't
No,
like
no.
I don't like that pause.
No, I had to think about it just in case, because it is me. But no.
I was like, look at them beefcakes.
Yeah, no. No, never. You remember that one guy who died fucking never mind.
And coincidentally, not coincidentally, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. Also, during this episode, also, I guess Ryuji gets dumped because she ends up asking out a guy, and he says yes right away. He's like, oh man, this chick's hot. So I'm like, I'm just gonna start
Agreed.
dating her. And then pretty much he ends up rejecting her as soon as he finds out that she is not a he, I guess. So he's like, oh no, like I don't like that's like I'm normal.
Yeah, that's
So like
literally what he says. I'm normal, so I can't.
yeah, so I'm like,
Fuck that guy.
which I was like, the fuck? I was like, what do you mean normal? I was like, it's like if you said you were straight, yeah, that makes more sense. I was like, no, I'm normal. It's like you're kind of like throwing more insult to injury.
Yeah, you're a fucking dickhead, is what you are.
Yeah,
Look at her, she's beautiful.
pretty much.
So she has a hole. It's warm. Use it.
I did like that they did tackle those kind of like gender norms a little bit.
Definitely.
Because like as far as like Ryuji goes, like I didn't even know until they started like interacting with Ryuji more that like he was not a guy.
Oh, I knew immediately.
I didn't know. I mean, yeah, well, not a girl.
You had like the deeper voice, and then the name Ryuji. Like it's pretty easy, and then Yaguchi calls him handsome.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's a man. Like I get it. The most beautiful man I've ever seen.
I thought of it more like when like a girl is named like Alex, or like kind of like a name that also that sounds both like male and female. But I didn't really think to me like I didn't think Ryuji was more like a male name. I just think it was just like a name, and I was like,
did you watch sub or dub?
I watched the dub.
You watched the dub?
But yeah, in the dub, he refers like calls her a Ryuji girl.
Yeah.
Which I was like, is like Ryuji like a pronoun, or is that Ryuji was the name? So I was like I didn't really understand.
I feel like the dub makes it very obvious, especially with the huskier voice.
Yeah, I didn't really. Maybe if I listened to the sub, maybe, but like I wasn't sure if the sub was played by a female or a male.
The sub probably is some fucking high pitched Goku sounding motherfucker.
Oh, maybe.
All right. I guess that's one way to put it.
And I know was that the same? Am I still? Yeah, that's still for some reason there was like a lot that happened in episode 3. I guess they also like try to do some oil paintings as well. But I guess in that I don't know if it's like an oil painting class, but they start doing like I get like a ranking kind of process, I guess, to see kind of how far everyone is. And I think he thinks that he does a good job, but I know Yotosuke tells them that like, yeah, you're really good at kind of like imitation, but you can't really capture like the essence.
I think he was just happy to not be last. Honestly, he was like mid tier.
Yeah.
And then Maki was number 1. She was upset about it.
Yeah, because I guess it was like a curse to be first place at ranking, because it was like whoever's first is just
wouldn't get
bound
into the school.
Yeah, which he was already nervous about. So like, she's talented, but at the same time, like now she's worrying about that kind of curse. And then pretty much he kind of ends up having really no idea what he's kind of passionate about to put into his painting. He has that kind of problem. So it's just like he's good at like if there's something a model in front of him, like still life, he can draw it pretty good. But like apart from that, I guess there's like a little bit more to it that you have to do. Like
yeah, he can copy it down onto paper, but he can't give it life, basically.
Yeah. So pretty much in episode 4, that's what he learns. And I think they go into like another class. I don't know if it's Oba or was it another teacher.
It's Oba.
But okay, yeah, I think it was Oba, yeah. And he gets really freaked out about everyone, just because since it was a different class but same teacher, but there's other students. like as soon as that they had to draw, like he was just kind of sitting in front of his like I guess his canvas, with his stool or whatever, while everybody else is like, I think one guy was like cutting like a canvas with like a box cutter. Guy was just kind of like hand painting and all that, and he was kind of like, what are these guys doing?
Yeah, and then none of that
But
gets touched on. I'm like, oh, okay, they just did
yeah,
that for no reason.
yeah. I mean, they kind of touch up on it. It's just more like when he gets with Kiwan a little later, I was like, yeah, these are just
Forms of expression.
yeah, these are just all forms of expression. They're just like their way to I guess the way they combine with techniques and then with their expression, that's just how they do art. It's just there's no one way to do it. It's just whatever way you want to do it. And then they start practicing their first like exam painting, which is just pretty much they do paintings based on whatever school they're trying to get in and the criteria that they look for, and it's pretty much if you follow these rules you'll most likely pass. But I know Yotosuke like ends up like sucking at that real hard because I think like he
because like actually painting and painting for a test are different things.
Yeah.
He just wanted to actually paint. He didn't want to do the test painting. It was too restrictive, basically.
Yeah, so like he ends up like hating it, and Yogachi, like usually like he's not as far ahead as everybody else, but he did rank higher compared to Hashida and Yotosuke. So Yotosuke was like I'm done with this place. Like I don't need this place. And then you kind of find out that Yotosuke doesn't really like Yaguchi in a sense. It's like just going off what you said earlier, where he thinks that Yaguchi's a little bit like perfect in a sense. Like when it comes to like all the other stuff, I was like, why do you got to do art, man? Like you're already seem like you're already doing well enough and everything else. So like why don't like maybe not do art? And then the Yaguchi is just more like I'm putting my heart and soul into this. Like I'm working so harder than like anything else. Like especially like he's kind of putting himself out there, so he gets really like mad about it. And then because he's like upset about like what Yotosuke said and like cried about it, he ends up drawing like a really really good painting that kind of perfectly expresses that how he wants to improve himself, and it shows a lot of his determination. I think I was able to find the painting. They're really hard to find the paintings. So I had to like dig a little bit. But this is when he ended up drawing. I couldn't make up what it was though. They don't really.
A metal forge.
Was it a metal forge?
Yep.
Okay.
They straight up say it.
Oh, I didn't catch. I like after all the times I watched it, I didn't think. But that ties into his other painting a little bit, I guess. That he did.
That's not it though. That's the second one.
No, yeah, it's the second one, but there is a little correlation to it a little bit, which I'm just realizing.
Yeah, the first one he did was supposed to be a metal forge with like molten metal coming out of it, and it's supposed to be like how he's gonna form his art, you know. And then they're like, okay, well, time for the next assignment, and he basically copies the same picture, changes it up a little bit, and that's the one on screen now. Teacher's like, oh, that's great, but it's a copy.
Yeah. Yeah, like you're saying, like he did like after that painting, he was like on a roll, like thinking that he got it, but when it came to the next ranking, he ended up falling back onto the one that he did well on. So it wasn't as, I think they said it was like it wasn't as much original.
Yeah.
So like that's why he ranked a lot lower compared to like everybody else.
Because he definitely improved, but when it came to that, he just rehashed the same thing.
Yeah, and he kind of did that kind of like unconsciously.
Yeah, because it was like a safe thing to do, basically.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, and when it comes to like drawing and painting and all that, like you can't really paint it, like you can't really do it safe, because if you play it safe, it's gonna show in your art.
Exactly.
So it's just the only way that you can really make some good art is if you're passionate about it. And then that's what he learned kind of in the episode 5, because after that, like he had his self-confidence like boosting like good, and then it drops all the way down. And then in episode 5 he's kind of lost, and then he's like, I think Oba gives him an assignment, or everybody an assignment. They have to draw something important to him or to everybody, and there is like no specific guideline. It's just whatever is what's important to him or passionate. So he's only used to like drawing models, like fruit and whatever you guys, fruit in a basket or in a bowl. So he has struggling like what's important to him. So he instinctively just goes to his friends and the connections that he has. So he thinks kind of like a bond or like a connection. So I think he draws like a painting about threads, which is not as good, but at least the way that he expressed it, what he was trying to express was able to be expressed in the painting. So like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. But it was just more like okay, like, oh, I get what you mean. But try again. I guess that's what Oba ended up doing. And then he ends up I guess visiting Mori at her college or whatever, and he ends up being really inspired by it, because he ends up thinking like it's like another angel painting, but ends up being he calls it, he thinks of it more like a Buddhist painting, but he remembers what Mori says, that it's all about prayer. So he really gets inspired about it and realizes that it's like, oh, her method changed the way she paints, but her message of how she wants her painting still to be about religion or prayer, that hasn't changed. Like she still wants to express that in all her art. So it ends up still being a good painting.
He doesn't get to see her though, right? Like she's not there.
No, they ever since like I guess like when she left around episode 2,
they just keep missing each other.
They never meet again. Maybe again in the manga, but like they always just miss each other, which I kind of found annoying. That's because I was like, you're saying, it's like she's a catalyst, but at the same time, like you guys like aren't like never interacting again.
Basically.
Yeah. And
so she basically like stokes him up for a second time, unintentionally.
Yeah. And that ends up him drawing.
Unfortunately, you don't see her that much.
Yeah. And that pretty much kind of wraps up like all 5 episodes. A lot more happens, but it's pretty much gets crazy from there. Well, I just found it. This was his first ever painting that he drew.
Yes, the blue, what is it, Shibuya?
Yeah, and this is kind of actually like it's after meeting and seeing Mori's painting, all that. This is what got him into art, because I guess usually like every day he hangs out with his friends, like he just hang out till like from morning till early in the morning. So he knows Shibuya very well. It's just like that's instinctively what he goes to. So like to him it's just more like when he's like out drinking or whatever, in the morning he just sees like it's just all quiet, and like I guess for him he sees it as all blue. And it wasn't until like he got like acknowledged and like it was purposely understood what he drew, that he actually like really like started crying, and it was like he didn't really understand like how moved by it, I guess.
Sometimes it takes some real man to become best girl. It's not wrong.
Not wrong at all.
No, not wrong.
I'll stand by that. As much as I love Oba,
Yeah.
Yuji's the best character in this anime.
Yeah.
I'll die on that hill. I don't give a damn.
And last no. I guess at least from what I took out of it, like this, like watching the whole thing, that like I know whether it's like dealing with like Ryuji's identity, or even like Ryuji's not I'm sorry, like Ryuji with his or her identity, or Yaguchi like not believing in himself. Like pretty much the show kind of used art as a form of as a form of expression
Mhm.
that it brings out to the viewer. So like it makes you see that everyone has their different struggles and has their own things going on, and how others see you may be different, or how you see yourself, or how you see things might be a little bit more simple or more complex than what it is.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks, basically. I stroke
Yeah.
2 to 3 times a day.
So like whether it's like how you see the world or your friends or even yourself, the world's pretty much how you make it out to be, and that boundary is pretty translucent.
Yeah.
So I overall, like, despite everything, I think I'd rate it like a 9.5. The animation at times was at first, but as I watched it, I feel like the animation progressed as he progressed a little bit. At
I
least I
did
got.
kind of notice that. I thought it was just me.
Yeah, they don't.
So I was just seeing things.
I never really see that very often, or like maybe I just don't notice it. But like as soon as he started getting better, the animation, at least like when eventually when he drew his first painting that he was really passionate about, like the animation did up it a little bit.
Yeah.
But overall, like not just like the animation, but like the way they told the story and how like they connected every character, it was just all pretty good. So I ended up everything was just kind of tied in together, and I didn't really expect it. It just kind of drew me in like it did Yaguchi.
You said you give it a what?
9.5.
Wow, that's high. Jay?
So I actually did like the anime, not to the entirety of the standpoint, but benefit of the doubt, and it's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I still judge it pretty fairly. Give it a 6. So honestly, it's not the greatest thing I've seen, definitely not the worst thing I've seen, but to put it simply, love the art, really love the art. I think the art style definitely held it together for me, but it felt a little generic, not because of the characters, but the plot, like the storyline made it feel very generic. It wasn't, too unique, but it had it unique points, but it just wasn't enough for me to be like, I could probably, this could probably be better, but I'm not a writer. So
Yeah,
I'm not the one to really criticize too much.
just enough to rate it.
Yeah.
Well, you know who is a writer?
Yeah.
Me. Haha. Little known fact about Lizer. I am a writer. I am a published writer. Whoa, crazy. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't think I would give it a 9.5, honestly. I think if I truly and honestly had to rate it based on what I saw, I would give it a 10. Because I fucking loved everything about this. I related to it so fucking hard, especially when it came to the moments of him having to decide between, should I choose a path where I know I can make money and help my family out and be dependable, or choose something that I love doing and I can find myself in, and it being such a struggle. And he ended up going the opposite way of me, and it felt like I got to like live it out through him a little bit.
Yeah.
and like I said before, I fucking broke when he had that conversation with his mom, and he drew her that picture, and he started describing, like, I see the cuts on your hands, I see how if you mess up on a portion, you take it and you won't give it to me or dad. And I just fucking lost it.
Oh.
Yeah, it really hit me hard. And like I said, I was watching it at work.
Yeah.
So like I had to keep hiding my
Trying to
phone.
keep it together.
Yeah, and I was like wiping away tears while like greeting people coming in and shit. And it was
Yeah.
really, really hard. And I came back from work, and at work I finished episode 1 through 5. I
Yeah.
came back from work, and I finished the entire season.
Nice.
Yeah, and
That
Jay,
that goes.
you hit me up like, oh, do you want to hang out for a bit? And I was like, oh, give me like 20-30 minutes.
Right?
I was on the last episode wiping tears, and I needed to like
Aw.
compose myself. And that's why you picked up. You're like, yo, I'm like, hey man, because I was
Yeah, I could
just
tell
out.
something. Yeah, I could tell something was off. But I will admit, I feel like I'm was a little harsh, but again, everyone has their cup of tea.
No, yeah, it's fine. It just for me, like it did feel a little generic. But what made me bring a high rating, that's why it's not a 10 for me because of the animation, like you were saying, like a little bit generic. That's why it's not a 10 for me, but it's a 9.5. It's because like it related to me so much. Like it made me think like maybe like if I was around his age, maybe if I just chose a choice that I was like more passionate about instead of just like I even now I'm still kind of wondering like what like I want to be passionate about, and I still don't know. And then I didn't even know anything, but like if I knew what I knew now, I would like do it all over again because once you kind of find something that you're passionate about, it everything just clicks a little bit more easier
Yeah,
because it's more like you're not doing things because you're like doing it to get paid or for just for the bills or just to get by. You're doing it because you love doing
You
it.
love what you do.
You love what you do, and it just being paid and being like paying all the bills. That's just like what is it, circumstance? It's
yeah,
just like something that ends up happening. So like if you end up not having to worry about that kind of stuff anymore, it's just more like now I can just focus on just putting, I guess, my heart and soul into what I love, and that's pretty much what it is. And unfortunately, it's not as easy to find what you're passionate about is with everybody. Sometimes it's just like you just got to take the opposite path that he took. It's like what, I don't really know, and I rather just take the safe path. So this actually got me a lot of like real thinking about like at least the way my perspective of way of doing things. So
Mm.
like I that's why I rated it so high.
So, uh, it's been a while since I like wrote anything because of the path I chose. But since I had time at work and this kind of inspired me, I wrote something at work, something very very
Wow.
short, but I wanted to share.
All right.
Oh, nice.
So why am I afraid?
Right.
uh
You were literally saying Olga about fucking pegging you like halfway in the stream, and I'm like,
yeah, that
no.
was haha funny Lizer. This is like actual me right here.
All
It's a
right.
little
Actual
scarier.
li-
Yeah.
Actualizer instead of
Wait on me, chief.
All right, here you go. Falling. That's how I would explain life to someone. It's like free falling, where your chosen path and daily choices are like your parachute and trajectory. Sure, you may have planned how everything will go, but maybe the string to your parachute snapped. Now what? We can plan any life we want, really, but any outside force can come in like a gust of wind and blow you off target. It's both beautiful and horrific at the same time. So yes, living life is like falling from a plane, and I'm scared of heights.
pretty deep, man.
Thanks, man.
That pretty kind of sums it up a lot. Like, I do understand that it does feel that way. That at least at first that I started, at least now, like since I realized that used to be what I thought, where like you kind of have to think that way, that the world's just kind of like, hey, you just kind of have to jump into this big world and all that. But like after seeing this, I started having more of an opposite reaction, where it's just kind of like, hey, like I just like fell splat on the floor pretty much. But I'm still alive for some reason. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I'm like, now I'm like on pretty much ground level. So I'm like,
now we take
what
revenge. I'm alive and you have to deal with it.
Rocket launcher to the plane. So it's pretty much. I'm still working on a lot. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm passionate about. At least myself. At least like I said, I watched the show multiple times just because I was just trying to understand a little bit more. But I was just trying to understand how, like, I guess what really like stood out to me is just like doing something that you're passionate about. So like I've been kind of looking like was like maybe I want to be a streamer or do like or but at the same time I'm not very the best like communicator. Like I'm not very good at talking at all. So that was like a lot of like one of the big main
Really? I
reasons.
could never get you to shut up.
That was one of the big main reasons why I even joined this podcast. Just because I need to practice more on like just talking. I
Wait,
guess.
so you're not here because you want to be? You're here because you're using us? We're kicking him out. We're kicking him out.
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
Oh. Time out.
I don't think there's gonna be a week that he just doesn't get bullied by you know.
No. I think that I should just rename the timeout to just James's corner.
But
I like how he stays in there. He never like comes back.
But I do think I am gonna finish this, even though it's not my cup of tea. I do like. I'm a sucker for a good story.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
I like watching. I like watching people's progressions.
Oh, so you would really like towards the end where we get to see like what happens with Ryuji. You get to see what happens with the main character and like a couple of loose ends and stuff. I'm definitely gonna look into the manga and see if there's more.
Are you gonna buy the whole thing?
Buy. Yes.
I do wonder if he does find like a love interest or if he ends up like ending up with somebody.
I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like they're trying to tie him to Ryuji.
Maybe like they did like make it seem like he did connect a lot with Kiwana, like a lot, like as far as like they're pretty similar.
Yeah, but it seems like they only connected on like a art level, like not on a personal level. Just like we share some of the same struggles with our art.
Oh, I see.
But with Ryuji, he's connecting with her on a deeper level. And
that is true.
There's some stuff that happens later on that I don't want to spoil that like connects them even more. And it makes me feel like it's kind of leading that way, or maybe to just like, you know, very platonic friendship, very close friendship.
I think it seems like more of a platonic friendship, but at the same time, it's just more like you were saying, like I don't want to spoil anything either, but I know like at first, I guess it's just like he's only doing things just to be nice, but like if it comes to like him, like if it was choose between like
I think I know what you're talking about, the drowning situation.
Yeah, the drowning situation.
If you were on a boat, somebody fell overboard and they were drowning, you would throw them a floaty, but you wouldn't jump in to save them.
Yeah. So like once they kind of went through that kind of analogy that they did in the episode, like they got a little closer.
They do say, though, that Ryuji is bisexual and does have a crush on a girl. So maybe we see like a, you know, three-way action happening. Just saying. Just, you know.
Could be.
Perhaps.
Double stuff. Alright. So, in general, we all pretty much enjoyed it. Sometimes I have to stop myself.
I will. I'll let it happen.
You know what's crazy? This is like I'm holding back because it's Twitch. What am I gonna do on the other one?
God.
I think you would run out of things to say.
I'm just gonna be. What if I'm just completely opposite? What if I'm innocent on that one?
The false. It's like the fucking false. Like it's like the curtain. It's like it's like this is what I want to show people, and then like they open the curtain and it's like it just leaks here.
It's like, let's just close that curtain.
So yeah, anything anyone has to say about this before we move on?
That was good.
I think we covered. I
Go
covered
watch,
everything.
watch this ish.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's available like on Netflix. You can go watch it. As of right now, there's no plans for a season 2. What's up, Arsenal? How you doing, man? Right now there's no plans for a season 2 because it apparently didn't rank very well on like Netflix Japanese. Like yeah, but that's all they care about because it's an anime. So if it doesn't rank in the Japanese area, they're not gonna give a shit about us.
Right.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Maybe with a bunch of support because it seems to be gaining a following after the rankings. So hopefully, but if you enjoy it and you finish the anime and you want more, go into the manga.
Yeah.
And speaking of like anime and manga, before I jump into the next thing, there's a classic that's getting a new adaptation. Or I don't know if it's an adaptation or a continuation or what, but Spice and Wolf, new anime project.
What?
Oh,
Yeah, it was just announced. I think like yesterday or the day before.
Wow, I was like, this is the first I hear of it.
I don't know if it's a remake or if it's going to be some kind of continuation. Because I know there was rumors a couple of years ago that there was a continuation that was supposed to happen with the children.
You have children?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I gotta watch it again.
Oh, I'm down to watch Spice and Wolf anytime. It was
It's
the
been so
most
long.
boring, most entertaining thing I've ever seen. Like I was bored the whole time learning about economics, but I couldn't tear myself away.
Oh no, I love that kind of thing. There's another show about like there's this demon lord woman, and it's all about like agriculture and all that. I never finished it either, but like at first I did like it a lot.
Why does that sound familiar?
It does sound really familiar. We'll talk about it after. We'll try to figure it out.
I mean,
Okay.
But for what we're going to be watching next week, I had already announced it last time, but for anyone who didn't know, here we go.
Ta-da!
My Dress Up Darling.
Nice.
Yeah,
I've been wanting to watch this.
me too. Just why we're going to be
He's
watching
been
it. I've
Salivate.
stopped myself from watching it like on my own time because I wanted to watch it for the show. Because I loved it reading the manga back in the day. And, you know, for anyone who doesn't know, our main female character here that's on screen is voiced by Amelie, who is known for years now on the internet to do like English covers of Japanese songs. She's a very, very talented singer. But she's also a voice actress, and she's playing Arine. And she's also new to the VTuber world. You might know her as Monarch if you watch VTuber. So check out her stuff. Very, very talented person. And I'm excited to see her play this role. I've seen a couple of clips, trying not to spoil myself too much. And she just I need water.
One more thing.
All right, Uncle. One more thing.
Just opened up a voice channel in the Animation Revaluation Discord for watch parties. So I don't know about handing out links. I don't know if
Is it like you guys like watch it together like with everybody or like
Yeah,
wanna
so
watch
it
or-
allows for 99 people.
this.
So
Yeah,
what I'll
so we're
do
gonna start
is
doing it.
put out links and be like, hey guys, we're watching this, and you can come in and watch. It might not even always be like what we're watching for the week.
It could be
It
whatever.
might just be like, I'm bored and I'm gonna watch Onichichi,
Okay.
and you can come in and watch it.
Would we watch stuff on the watch party to like together like this week's odd podcast, or is it just for anybody that wants to watch it?
Anybody who wants to watch it.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's up to
anybody that wants to
99
watch
people.
anything, go ahead, come join, have a good time.
Nice.
I'll probably add like a public chat channel.
Yeah,
So that
way
people
it's
can like
not...
talk while watching, but you wouldn't be able to come on yourself with a microphone and start talking to us. Cause ew, gross, get away.
Nice.
Don't be mean.
Yeah, look
But,
forward to that.
I'm looking forward to seeing more people, come join the Discord.
And before no one joins.
That'll make me sad. But don't make me sad.
Don't make Jay sad. Only I can do that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you could also catch me. I just made it today, but you can catch me on IG or Twitter on the JB_23.
Nice.
I'm still trying to figure out like what to put on it, but it is gonna be
Dick
more
pics.
about yeah. Oh no.
Said yeah.
Wait, no, no. Sorry, I didn't know what you said. No, it's just kind of stuff that I'm kind of interested in, and if you guys want to talk about anime or whatever, like that's totally fine.
All right, yeah.
But yeah, I know you have. I forget because we never plug in our stuff either. I know you have a Twitter too, right?
Me?
Was it the Lizerville?
The Lizer.
The Lizer.
Yeah, it's Lizerville 23, because for some reason Lizerville was taken.
Huh.
Yeah.
Is there any reason you chose 23?
I'm a big fan of Michael Jordan.
Oh.
Also, my birthday.
And I chose 23 because there's 23 ingredients in Dr. Pepper.
Did you know KFC only follows 11 people on Twitter?
Huh.
It's the Spice Girls and then a couple of guys named Herb. And that's hilarious because of the 11 herbs and spices.
Did you know? I think I don't know. I forget the exact details, but I was like, there was like
Why are we still
something.
streaming? Bye, everyone. We'll finish this conversation in private. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.